Hello, hello, hello. How is everyone doing? Just going to give people a few minutes to join. And while we are waiting on people to join, I'm just going to type a few pinned comments so that people can get in where they fit in. Yeah. Yeah. And also, while I am pinning these comments, why don't you guys tell me where you guys are joining me from today? And what's going on in your neck of the woods? Hey, Shug, we definitely do. Y'all, if y'all know a way to do this without having to wait and do it when you get inside your please tell me. Because this ain't working. It's taking forever. And also, while we're waiting, why don't you all invite a few friends to join us? The more the merrier, right? The more the merrier. Today's topic is going to be good. Be good. If you're on Facebook, please give StreamYard permission to access your information so that I can see your name and your comments. All right, it's been a few moments, so I'm just going to go ahead and jump in first and foremost. Let's do our introductions. I'm Coach Tracey. I am a trauma healing and mindset transformation coach for high achieving Black women who are ready to deal with the imposter syndrome. They are tired of dimming their light. They are ready to show up with self-confidence. They are ready to kick the stereotypes to the curb. They are ready to deal with those that unhealed trauma that's holding them back. And that trauma could be from childhood. It could be relationship trauma. It could be, of course, workplace corporate trauma. And it can also be the remnants of intergenerational trauma that is typically rooted in historical trauma, aka slavery. So that is the woman that I am looking to work with and who I support. A high achieving Black woman. Let me explain who she is. High achieving means she is always looking to up level. She is ready to glow up. She is constantly looking for ways to improve personally, professionally, spiritually, physically, in every aspect of her life. All right. That is what I mean by a high achieving Black woman, someone who is constantly striving to be her higher self every day and knows that her competition is only herself. So now that we have got that out of the way, why don't you guys also tell me where you guys are dropping in from and what you do? That would be interesting to know what you guys do. Today's tea is brought to you by Numi. Today I am drinking my Rubibos chai. I think that's how you pronounce it. I've never figured out how to pronounce it, but it's okay. It tastes really good. I like this tea. It is not being sponsored by Numi, but I like this tea because it has the I can taste cinnamon, but I can taste I don't really know what it is I'm tasting. But I know I'm tasting cinnamon. Let me see what's in it. Oh yeah, that's what it is. Cloves. I like cloves, but usually the cloves are, I only use cloves typically when my husband makes his tea for us to drink when we're not feeling great. I think it's great for the immune system. I'm not sure. I just try to drink it because it's horrible, but don't tell them I said so. Um, what else? Yeah, I love it. Next month, we will have a sponsor for our tea. We've got several people who have stepped up, and I cannot wait to support them. But I like to give them a full month. So I'm not going to jump in the middle of, well, we only have today and next week, I believe, for this month to be over. So y'all go get y'all some of that new me tea. Thank you to everyone who has joined me. I am going live on, well, I am live on Facebook, my personal page, LinkedIn, YouTube, and also Instagram. So thank you, thank you, thank you. Deanna Bookert is joining from Facebook over in Columbia, South Carolina. I am a native of South Carolina from Spartanburg. So what's up? All right. Y'all know I like to get started with a prayer. So let's go ahead and jump into it. I'm using my Too Blessed to Be Stressed 3-minute devotions for women book. And the prayer comes from Philippians 1, verses 9 through 11. And it says, and this is my prayer, that your love may abound more and more in knowledge and depth of insight, so that you may be able to discern what is best and may be pure and blameless for the day of Christ, filled with the fruit of righteousness that comes through Jesus Christ, to the glory and praise of God. The text says, God wants us to be picky choosy. I like that, picky choosy about what we do, where we go, whom we hang with, what we feed our eyes, ears, and minds, and even, oh, shudder, what we put into our mouths. Y'all better clutch your pearls, clutch your pearls. Good discernment is crucial. The choices we make today will affect all of our tomorrows. Y'all better, somebody didn't hear that. The choices we make today will affect all of our tomorrows. That was a word for somebody. But the encouraging news is that we're not on our own. We have the Holy Spirit as our helper. Charles Spurgeon said, discernment is not a matter of simply telling the difference between right and wrong. Rather, it is telling the difference between right and almost right. Her prayer is, Dear Papa God, I need to be extremely picky choosy in a selfish, sinful world. So many things could keep me from you. Please give me wisdom and discernment to make good choices and keep close to you. Amen. Amen. I don't think I need to add to her prayer, because this prayer actually goes right into the topic for today, which is accountability and responsibility and how it relates to trauma, specifically healing from trauma. But before we get into all of that, let's talk about what exactly is accountability. Y'all drop in the comments what accountability is to you. Thank you for everybody that's already joined. Deanna has a sponsor. What I do, she is a consultant and founder of the National Wear Your Pearls Day. Y'all heard me say clutch your pearls. And I have the distinct pleasure of being one of her national ambassadors. I got to get on my JOB, though. I've been a little slack. I had a good reason for missing it, though. My daughter was in an accident. So, yeah. Anywho, keep my daughter prayed up because we are dealing with some crazy things, but keep her prayed up. Anywho, what does accountability mean to you all? Well, let me tell you what it is. Accountability is you taking complete, and I hate to use the word responsibility, but I'm going to say the word responsibility for what transpires after you complete the actions. Responsibility is you actually completing the actions. You're responsible for making sure a task gets done. That's where the responsibility part comes in. That's for you to do. But accountability is you being 100% accountable for, responsible for the final outcome and everything that ensues around that particular task. So How does that relate to trauma, right? Well, let me tell you, I'm so glad you asked. It relates to trauma in this way. And we know that the word responsibility for many trauma survivors is it can get folks panties in a knot, because they're like, responsibility. Well, first of all, I'm not talking about you are responsible for what happened to you, because none of us are responsible for the trauma that we have endured. Okay. None of us, right? But there is a such thing as PR, and PR is personal responsibility. And we're going to talk about that. But before we go to that, let's talk about how a lack of accountability looks, because I don't think people really understand what that looks like. And to paint the picture, you will actually be able to see how it's showing up, and where this self-sabotaging actions, thoughts, are showing up in your life that are preventing you from really getting your healing. Okay. And I know my high achieving Black women, we always doing the darn thing, but we ain't always accountable. Yep, I know I stepped on some toes. Heck, I had to check myself a few times, because I'm not always accountable. Sometimes we don't want to be accountable because it's easier to justify our behaviors. We've been taught that a lot of times, how to justify our behaviors, especially if you've been a childhood trauma. The only way you can defend yourself is to justify what you did or did not do. Right? So we've been taught to do that. And especially in the workplace, many times we are dealing with so many microaggressions and micro insults and micro invalidations that we feel as if we need to justify our behaviors, because that is one of our coping mechanisms in these places, how we have been able to survive. However, it's not a very effective, and it's definitely not a coping mechanism that helps you to build personal self-trust, personal self-confidence, and continue to pour into your self-value. Okay. So justifying our behaviors. Another way that a lack of accountability shows up is we talk ourselves out of things. You know what? I was going to go exercise today, but you know what? I did so much walking up and down the stairs at work. That's going to be my exercise. When you know good and well, you didn't walk up the stairs for it wasn't but 10 stairs anyway, walking up the stairs when you went to work, walking down the stairs when you went to lunch, walking back up the stairs when you went back to the desk, walking back down the stairs when it's time to go home. You know good and well, it ain't enough exercise, but you talk yourselves out of things. Maybe it's not that. Maybe it's you talk yourself out of being social, but you want to be in community. Maybe you talk yourself out of getting your healing. Maybe you talk yourself out of getting a therapist or working with a coach or a psychotherapist, or whatever it is, a healer of some sort. That is another way that we self-sabotage when it comes to accountability, and minimize our personal responsibility, because personal responsibility is the key to you taking control over your own healing. Remember, when we were being traumatized, we didn't have control. This is the one way to take back your control, and that's taking personal responsibility for your actions, your words, your feelings, your outcomes, your thoughts, all of these things that cause you that represent how you're showing up in the world, how you're showing up with yourself. Another way that we sabotage being accountable and our personal responsibility is that we play the blame game. We play the blame game or the victim soundtrack. I'm going to talk about the blame game. Blame game is we blame what happened to us or what didn't happen for us, what someone said to us, what someone else didn't do, all the things. Granted, that may be true. It very well may be true. However, you still have some level of accountability and responsibility, because that is you taking personal responsibility for self. The poor me victim mode. Anybody ever done that? I know a few people definitely tap into that victim mode really, really well. Okay. I mean, they got it down pat. You need a exercise in learning how to be the victim. They can teach you. All right. But the victim mode keeps you in the victim mode. It keeps you as a victim. It keeps you in a low vibrational energy. Don't nobody want to be around somebody who plays the victim mode all the time and certainly doesn't blame. And certainly nobody wants to be around people that blame people all the time, never takes accountability and responsibility. How many times have you been with your friends and they were like, you know what, we ain't even got to worry about her because she ain't going. She always talk a good game, but she ain't going. That's that talking yourself out of things. They don't even have any trust in you anymore. And you don't have any trust in yourself. Whenever we are doing these activities, behaviors are showing up in our lives, it's because we do not have self-trust. Not only do we not have self-trust, we also do not have self-confidence. And self-confidence is not the same as confidence. Confidence is you already know that you can do that thing because you've done it before and you already know that you are good at it. Self-confidence is when you step into something and you have nothing but yourself to fall back on and believe, knowing that you can do it. And even if you fail, you still got your back. That's self-confidence because you have no experience. You just know that I can do this. I'm going to do this no matter what. And you're not going to beat yourself down, beat yourself up. If it goes left, you're going to say, hold up. Okay. What did I learn from that? Okay. So now I got this piece. Let me tweak how I was doing this thing and let's keep this thing going. Now I'm gonna give you a perfect example of self-confidence. I launched my Becoming Me group coaching program and I was a little upset. I've never launched anything this big. Okay. I've not from this perspective. There's a lot of work in going into creating a group coaching program, more work than I thought it was. I knew it was a lot, but I did not anticipate it being as much as it is. Well, I could have said, I've never done this, so I don't think I'm going to do this. Because I didn't have the muscle built up in creating a group coaching program. That was the confidence, external. I already knew. I could have said that, but I didn't. I said, you know what? I don't know how to do it, but I know I'm going to figure it out. And the reason why I know I'm going to figure it out is because I believe in me. Not because I've done other things, but because I believe in me, which is a huge difference. And that's why self-confidence and confidence are two different things. Okay. Self-trust. When you do not trust yourself, and many of us have been in, especially relationships or even childhood, and even maybe in workplaces, we have been taught to not trust ourselves, to second guess our decisions and choices. Let me give you an example. Say you're at work and you do, this, your stuff. You present it to, let's say, your teammates or your manager, supervisor, whomever it is, and they go through it and they nitpick it. I mean, it could be the most minor thing. You didn't put a period here. You needed a comma here. Oh, you know what? 2 + 2 = 4. You got 2 + 2 = 7. You know, it was a typo, but it's nitpicked. And it doesn't matter how much time, how much energy, it doesn't matter what you do, you are constantly nitpick. So what happens is every time you go to do your work, you in the back of your mind, you're second guessing, okay, is this right? You're spending so much time trying to be a perfectionist also to make sure you get everything right that you're not even trusting that the work that you do is great anymore. You're losing the trust in your own capabilities and abilities because of what is happening on the outside. It happens all the time. Another way is in childhood. We lose the trust in ourselves and the decisions that we make. For instance, if you're a child and you want to dress yourself, but because you're not matching, how many of us have had that happen? Because when you were a child and you put on something that wasn't matching because you felt good in it, you loved that particular outfit, but they were like, child, come here, you look a hot mess. Let me go in there and change those clothes. I'm just saying, right? You started to not trust the choices and the decisions you make. And it's those little small things that will start to erode. And you just, the more you believe that thought is how you continue to lose trust in yourself. So you waffle, you're dodging, you're never comfortable in the decision that you made. And that's why a lot of these self-sabotaging behaviors really erodes in those areas. And because there's lack of self-confidence and because there's lack of self-trust, we also minimize our value. Notice I said our value. Our worth is inherent. There is nothing, and let me repeat, nothing that you could do to ever be unworthy, because the fact that you were created and you are here means that you are worthy. Okay? Period, point blank, not up for discussion, not up for debate. I do understand that some people struggle with self-worth, however. If that is something that you struggle with, you definitely need to be contacting me, schedule a consult, link in bio, or join the Becoming Me coaching program, okay? Because that is something that we definitely work on. So, what's the benefits of personal responsibility and accountability? Well, let me tell you. Let me tell you. First, and I said it before, is that when you have personal and you accept personal responsibility for your thoughts, for your feelings, for your actions, for your emotions, for your outcomes, for all the things that are related to you, then you actually have control in aspects of your life. Okay. It is also that part of responsibility that gives you that foundation of getting and claiming your own healing despite what happened to you. Okay. That's the biggest benefit, in my opinion. But it also, when you start taking personal responsibility and accountability in your life, it also helps to increase that self-trust. It helps to increase your self-value. It helps to increase your self-confidence. And those are major, because when you have self-trust, self-confidence, and self-value, you will make decisions and choices, and you will act differently. You will think differently. You will start to show up differently. Because when you trust yourself, you're not second guessing if that decision you made. And no matter how much somebody nitpicks something, you realize it's about them and not about you. Because that nitpicking that you may have encountered at work is deeply rooted in their own trauma. But it's hard to think that way. The reason why that person is nitpicking your work is because somebody has done it to them or is continuing to do it to them. And they have a perfectionism streak in them. Okay. And you'll start to understand that, and it won't be a trigger for you. And then you can also start to show that person a little bit more grace and compassion because you understand where they're coming from. Okay. Self-confidence. When you have that personal responsibility, despite what's happened to you, you know beyond a shadow of a doubt that whatever comes your way, even if you have never done it, because you don't need confidence when you have self-confidence. Because with self-confidence, you're going to make it happen. You're going to have your back no matter what. And even if, again, things go left, you're going to give yourself a pat on the back for doing that darn thing. You're going to love yourself. You're going to give yourself grace and compassion, even if it doesn't go the way you want. Okay. Thank you for everyone who's joined and who's commenting. I appreciate it because this is not just a monologue. This is a dialogue or trialogue or quadrilogue. Is that such a word? I don't know. Because I really do want to talk to y'all. I want to be in conversation. So that self-confidence and then the self-value. Our worth never changes, but we can devalue ourselves. Woo! That was a word. Our worth never changes. But sister girls, we can devalue ourselves because when we do not trust our own selves, when we don't believe in our own selves that we can, no matter, we keep putting ourselves on the sales rack. And sometimes we actually end up on the clearance rack and we just accept the breadcrumbs, whatever we can get. But when you have personal responsibility, and because you've increased that self-confidence, you've increased that self-trust, oh, that value goes up, up, up. All right. The value goes up, up, up. All right. Not only that, now all of that is great for you as well. But when you have taken accountability and responsibility, in spite of the trauma, you have better relationships, better working relationships, better parenting relationships, especially if you're co-parenting. Y'all know how hard it is to co-parent, right? Heck, sometimes it's hard to parent in the same house with the other parent. But y'all know what I'm saying. You have better work relationships. You have better friendships because you actually started to take personal responsibility, but also control back. Your power is now yours. You're not looking outside of yourself for someone to validate you. You're not looking outside of yourself to tell you what to do, what's right for you, how to do it, when to show up, where to go, right? You're not doubting your ability to do hard things, even if you've never done them. Again, self-confidence means you know you can do it just because. Not because you've done it, but just because you know you can. Okay? It also boosts the trust that people have in you. Because remember, we talked about one of the sabotaging habits is we talk ourselves out of things. We justify our behaviors. That causes the trust that other people have for us to decrease when we are acting that way. But when we are taking personal responsibility and our self-trust is increasing, our self-confidence is increasing, our self-value is increasing, then we start to show up more confidently. We start to show up more courageously by owning all of the accountability for the outcomes of our responsibilities. Okay? And when I say that, what I mean is that you don't compare yourself to others who also have shown a lack of accountability, because you realize that it's all about you being true, your self-trust. And you're going to pray for them that they'll get theirs. Okay. You don't just, try to take a little bit of the accountability. You take all of your accountability for what you did or did not do, did or said or did not say. That's how that works. Okay. You don't just try to, soften the facts, if you will. I don't know what's a better word. So it's a little bit more palatable for you. You say straight, no chaser. Straight, no chaser. Let me just do this. It is what it is. For real, for real. It is what it is. So, yeah, that's it. That's all I got for you. Personal responsibility and accountability are so freaking powerful on your healing journey, especially if you're a high achieving woman. Because see, most people have it twisted that just because we are striving to be our best selves every single day, that we got it all together. But see, because we look good. We look good. Girl, we can put on some clothes and you'll never know the trauma you'll never know what's going on in here. I will fix my face up. The smile will be, hey girl. Inside I could be like breaking. And I know y'all know what I'm talking about. Don't act like you don't know, because I know you know, right? But that accountability and personal responsibility will also help you to understand that you are allowed to have those moments, that you can actually feel and lean into those moments, because leaning into those moments, those feelings, those emotions, that's where you're going to get your breakthrough. When you allow yourself to feel those emotions, because the emotions that are showing up in your body, the sensations that are showing up in your body, those are where the answers are. It's going to lead you to your answers. It's like when you got to till the soil, when you're planting in the yard, to get to the root, to see what's going on. So your plants can not just grow, but they can thrive. And once you get all the good stuff in the soil and you get the right conditions and plant them in the right light and all that, they can actually start to flourish. Yeah, that's kind of what accountability and personal responsibility do for you. So that's all I got for you guys today. I hope this Tea Talks has been amazing for you. Again, feel free to drop some comments, because this is not a monologue. Again, this is what is this, y'all? Let's talk. Let's talk. Hey, Christina, she says, I think if your trust is broken as a child, trusting yourself as an adult is hard. Yes, it is, because you have been second guessed so much. You don't know if you can trust your own thoughts. You don't know if you can trust your own decisions, but it can be rebuilt, and it can be rebuilt by small steps daily. For instance, one of the things that I'm working on personally from a self-trust perspective is that I've always been one of those people that likes to sleep late. And I think I'm pretty sure it has more to do with the fact that I had an aunt that felt like everybody had to be up when the sun rose. I mean, I'm not the sun. I don't why I got to be up when the sun rises. That just don't make no sense to me. If you want to get up, that's fine. Why I got to be up because you up? And I was a rebel, and I hated it. Hated it. Now, don't get me wrong. I actually love seeing the sun rise. I do. I think it's the most beautiful thing, just like watching a sunset. It's beauty in it. However, I wanted the choice to decide when I was going to get up. So there's this part of me that literally hates getting up early. And I'm working on changing that, because I need to tap those hours so I can start going to bed at a decent hour instead of staying up to 2 and 3 o'clock in the morning, sometimes 6 a.m., 24 hours and stuff like that. So the self-trust that I'm building within myself is to keep my word to myself about being up before a certain time. And that's how you start to rebuild. Now that's just one of the ways, but that is a great way to start rebuilding your trust. All right. All right. So I grabbed some cards. These are affirmation cards, and this is by, actually, let's see, who is this by? More Than a Mrs. Jennifer Brantley is the designer of these cards. And I'm just going to pull a card and just share it with you, especially considering tomorrow is the first day of fall. Yeah, first day of fall, guys. Can y'all believe that? I'm not ready, but don't matter if I'm ready. I'm just going to pull the top 3. No, the top 2, because these are actually pretty lengthy cards. This is a great card, and I love how the Holy Spirit, universe, God, spirit, whatever you want to call it, always gives me exactly what we need, exactly what we're talking about. This card says, I face change and challenges head on. Change is an adventure that helps me to grow. Accountability and personal responsibility. Change is inevitable. Whether you want it or not, change is going to happen. You can't stop it. You may be able to stop it in your own life to some degree, but from a macro level, kind of hard to stop change. So you either got to get with it or not, right? And if you think of it in this perspective, that change is an adventure that helps me to grow versus I hate change. One, I want you to see the difference in how you feel in your body, because our body, when we say the word hate, it has a totally different feeling inside than the word adventure. So I want to say that again. Change is an adventure that helps me grow. What feeling do you get? Hey, Groovy Herbal Teas. How you doing, beautiful? What feeling do you get in your body when you say change is an adventure that helps me to grow? That feeling is the feeling that will get you moving. That feeling is the feeling that will cause you to do positive things, right? But when you say, I hate change, how did that feel in your body? That feeling that you feel in your body when you say, I hate change, is what will stop you from getting anything positive, because it's resistance. And what you resist will always persist. All right. She puts this on here, and this was she uses a couple of scriptures on here also. And it says, you picture this. You went to your local garden center and purchased the most robust plant you could find. When you got home, did you leave the plant in your trunk? Some of us have. No, you introduced it to a new environment. You watered it, you gave it sun, and then you watched it grow. Treat adversity the same way. You are the plant, and change is the environment you need to thrive. The scriptures that she applies to this is Deuteronomy chapter 31, verses 6 and 8, Romans 8 and 28. We all know what that is. And Hebrews 12, 1. Well, we might not all know, but if you are Christian, or if you grew up with the Abrahamic teaching, you more than likely know what Romans 8 and 28 is. All things work for the good of those who are called according to his. I remember a few of them, but I really like that, especially since Planet to Fly. And y'all saw me shuffling, so this just popped up. But it is exactly like that. We get a plant, and we don't just leave it and just sit it there. Most of us don't. But sometimes, and it's not sometimes, it's always, we say this: growth cannot happen in your comfort zone. You got to stretch. You gotta be stretched. It will not happen. You did not learn how to ride a bike by being in your comfort zone. You didn't learn how to write by being in your comfort zone. Didn't learn how to cook by being in your comfort zone. You may have enjoyed it, but it wasn't your comfort zone that helped you to stick with it. Right? All right. And the second one, and I'm not going to take too much time. It says, I will give myself the space and time to learn new things. I will give myself the space and time to learn new things. And this is going back to accountability and personal responsibility as well, because when you take personal responsibility for the tasks that you have to complete, that you are responsible for, and you are taking complete ownership of the outcome, there has to be that level of self-confidence to know that you got this, period. And not only that you got this, that you're going to give yourself space and time to learn whatever it is that you don't know. So that when you have to take ownership for the results of the task, you can, one, confidently say, because you've already done that, confidently say that you've done your best at that thing, but there's always room to learn more. And that's giving yourself grace and compassion also, because you can't know everything on all things. None of us can. Oh, I didn't even know this was going to say, but she says, you will never know it all, but it doesn't hurt to try. Lessons and wisdom come in many forms, from mistakes, from failures, from the wisdom of others, and by seeking higher learning opportunities. I love it. All right, ladies and gents, that is all for today. I hope this has been helpful. I hope it has been valuable. I hope that you found a gem that you can use for yourself or share with someone else. And with that said, if you are catching this on the replay, please let me know in the comments by typing in #replay. And also, you guys know how it is on these social media streets. Like, comment, and share. That is the least that we can do to support one another, right? So if you can like this, if you can comment, if you can share, what's not if you can, do it. You can do it. I would very much appreciate it. Thank you so much. And I will see you next week for Tea Talks with Coach Tracey. But let me remind you, Get Your Breakthrough Thursday is inside the Facebook group, my private Facebook group for women. If you want to be coached, rapid fire coaching on something that's showing up in your life, you need to be inside the group. All right. Thank you, Bert. Thank you, Christina. I appreciate it. I love you for doing that. You need to be a member of the group to get coached, because that is only a perk for women in the group. All right. So Get Your Breakthrough Thursdays will be at noon on Thursday, Eastern Standard Time. I look forward to seeing you all there. If you're not part of the group and would like to be, all you have to do is hit the link in my DM. Hit the link in my bio on Instagram, and you can join there. And if you would like to join the group outside of it, click the information that's, if you're on YouTube, LinkedIn, and Facebook, there is a link inside the information description box where you can join the group. All right. I'll see you guys. I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Mwah. Until the next time, continue to grow, thrive, and flourish. Plant those seeds, ladies. All right. God wants you to have that abundance and prosperity. I do too. Talk to you later.